Welcome to Mojoyminds.
This video looks at action and superhero stories as reflections of how violence, control, and power are framed in culture. It is not about judging fans or genres, but about examining what different portrayals quietly normalize. Some stories treat violence as a necessary burden. Others turn it into a spectacle. That difference becomes very clear when we place Blade next to Mortal Kombat. Both are dark. Both are brutal. Both revolve around combat. Yet the way they present violence, and the way that presentation influences the audience, could not be more different. Blade operates in the shadows. His violence is controlled, deliberate, and restrained. He does not fight to be seen. He fights because something must be stopped. His actions are not framed as entertainment within the story. They are framed as necessity. Each confrontation feels like work, not celebration. Blade does not enjoy what he does. He endures it. That matters, because it changes how power is perceived. Blade's strength is not about dominance or glory. It is about containment. He limits harm rather than amplifying it. His discipline is internal. He constantly restrains himself, not just from enemies, but from his own darker impulses. His power is defined by what he refuses to become. This is violence as responsibility. Mortal Kombat presents the opposite model. Violence is ritualized, displayed, and ranked. Combat is not just a means to an end, it is the point. Fighters are introduced, watched, judged, and eliminated in front of an audience. The spectacle is intentional. Pain becomes performance. Victory becomes identity. In Mortal Kombat, violence is not hidden. It is celebrated. The structure encourages escalation. Each fight must be bigger, more shocking, more definitive than the last. Strength is measured publicly. Worth is determined by who survives the tournament. This is violence as entertainment. The contrast between these two approaches reveals something important about influence. Blade's story trains the audience to see violence as costly. Mortal Kombat trains the audience to see it as exciting. One asks restraint from its hero. The other rewards excess. Blade's discipline is quiet. He does not explain himself. He does not justify his actions with speeches. He simply does what must be done and carries the weight alone. There is no crowd to cheer him. No system to validate him. His morality exists even when no one is watching. Mortal Kombat removes that loneliness. Violence becomes communal. The audience is invited to participate emotionally. To choose favorites. To anticipate finishing moves. The distance between watcher and act collapses. You are not just observing violence, you are meant to enjoy it. Neither approach exists in a vacuum. Both reflect real cultural attitudes. In everyday life, there are moments when force is necessary and must be used decisively. There are also moments when violence is exaggerated, commodified, and sold back to us as spectacle. Blade reminds us that violence always leaves residue. Even when justified, it changes the person who wields it. Mortal Kombat removes that residue. Fighters reset. Loss is final but impersonal. The emotional cost is externalized, not internalized. This difference shapes how power is understood. Blade's power is inseparable from self-control. Without discipline, he would become the very threat he fights. Mortal Kombat's power has no such break. Strength escalates until something breaks. And when it breaks, the cycle simply resets. In modern media culture, spectacle often travels further than restraint. Loud, shocking, visually extreme content spreads faster. Mortal Kombat fits that ecosystem perfectly. Blade feels almost out of place by comparison. Too quiet. Too serious. Too controlled. But that is exactly why Blade's influence lasts. He represents a form of power that does not need validation. A form of strength that understands limits. A refusal to turn harm into identity. The deeper question this comparison raises is not about which style is more fun to watch. It is about what kind of relationship we are being trained to have with violence. Do we see it as something to be managed carefully, or something to be consumed endlessly? Blade asks us to respect the danger of power. Mortal Kombat asks us to enjoy it. One frames discipline as survival. The other frames domination as success. Neither story is accidental. Both shape expectations. And over time, repeated exposure teaches us what feels normal. When violence is always spectacular, restraint can begin to look weak. When violence is treated as burden, restraint becomes a form of strength. Blade stands as a reminder that power without discipline corrodes the person who holds it. Mortal Kombat stands as a reminder of how easily violence becomes entertainment when consequences are removed. And that is the final contrast of this series. Not hero versus villain, but restraint versus spectacle. Not strength versus weakness, but control versus indulgence. If this perspective made you think, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments.
Garantangi, till the next video.